I had to pause for a moment because I'm trying to gather my thoughts because this game was awesome. This game was awesome. It's such an improvement over the very first one. They did so many things right. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10. It's fitting. For a sequel, for the first game I wasn't crazy about, the caliber that they succeeded. I'm gonna say succeeded. In terms of the sequel, that's amazing. Okay, so what do I like about it? Okay, well, let's start with what I dislike about it. I'm not gonna diss the technical issue because it didn't happen a lot. It happened rarely, like back and forth, but it was rare, not too much. But what I disliked was the backtracking. It was minor, but the game could have done with the fast travel system. I feel like progressing a certain part of the game, especially after the 8th chapter or a certain amount of the parts, when you're just OP at that point. The music's gorgeous. But yeah, it's just the fact that... Excuse me for a minute. That music really hits your heartstrings. It was the backtracking, and just the fact that you progress a certain part of the game, and then you don't have to fast travel system. You actually have to walk all the way back. Mind you, it's not far to go back to each checkpoint, or where you need to meet with O'Neill, Sykes, or Hoffman. But the lack of fast travel system, it's kind of patterned at that point. And so that kind of does slow down the story, but not in a bad way. It's just the backtracking. I feel like the fast track or fast travel system needed to be there. It just felt necessary. Otherwise, it kind of slowed down the game, but not in a bad way. It just kind of... When you wanted to get back to the main interesting plot, it took a while to get back there, but you had cool side missions to break up the pacing. I don't know, I just felt like the fast travel system should have been a reward at some point. Yeah, I just felt like that should have been thrown in, but it just felt lacking that they didn't have that. After braving the world of Evil Within 2, you don't get a fast travel system, not like Witcher 3 or some very modern games. It just didn't make sense to me. I get it, to add to the horror the horror atmosphere, but it just felt lacking. Okay. The music's really good. It's been good from the beginning to the end. It just fits this game so well. Okay, so what do I like about this game? First of all, sorry, the music's amazing. Even I had to pause, because that's a great compliment. Oh, I think it's about to end. I think. Okay, perfect. Now I can give my full verdict. Perfect to do Ordinary World again. This is also earned. Thank you for that. So where's Kevin gonna go now? It's still there, though.
But I won't cry for yesterday. There's an ordinary world. Somehow I have to find. As I try to make my way to the ordinary world, I will learn to survive.
What a... Hold on. Oh, shit. Cobweb, so how much time has passed? Well, that's gonna be Evil Within 3. Just that post-credits alone. Who's involved? Because, yeah, I did read a journal entry that STEM could be acted wirelessly. They could only do it from the computer terminal, but they were perfected it, so it looks like they perfected it to do this wirelessly. So that's going to definitely be Evil Within 3. Plus, it's the fact that Sykes, we don't know if he got out or did not get out. We didn't get confirmation of that. They kind of let that open-ended. So there's two plot details. Plus, we don't know what happened to Joseph. But as far as I'm reading online, I think if you collect all the slides, it's not a spoiler. Basically, Joseph is alive, but we don't know his status after the first game. So we don't know what happened. Well, anyway. Okay. Well, yeah, New Game Plus. But what other rewards am I getting? And of course, Classic Mode. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. So that means the game is gonna be damn hard. Okay, so chapter 3 is when we get to use it. Interesting. Oh, wait, what? You gave me a Magnum. Hell yeah. Hell yeah for doing all that. After doing all this. It's earned. The developers are dicking with us. The cinematic letterboxing that even I had a complaint with the first one, it didn't hurt the game for the first one. They brought it back. This is them trolling us. Ah, okay, so they just wanted to do the cinematic. They're just basically trolling us. They're making us play like the first game with the whole cinematic letterbox, but we don't have to. Okay, Tango Game works. I'll give you that. You're trolling us, but it's the best way possible. Plus, you gave us those 3 boss fights for the first game, those iconic boss fights. So yeah, of course you're gonna troll us some more. But damn it, you guys know how to please your fans, though. You guys know how to please your fans. This would make me a fan of this game. Alright, so, like I was explaining, what did I enjoy about this game? What did I enjoy about this game? Okay. First off, straight up, narrative is so powerful. It is very compelling from the beginning to the end. You're already hooked by the first chapter because we already know it's like Tango Game works, because when I read this, Shinji Mikami actually left after Evil Within 1. That was his final game unless he did another game that I'm not aware of. I'll have to actually Google that. But some guy named John, I forgot his last name, who did the DLC for Kitman, which was fantastic. I love that. Well, clearly his storytelling prowess just went over to Evil Within too. They needed to make the story good. There was no way they could not. They couldn't screw up the story. They had to, because they're making Seth the central focus. They had to focus on his past trauma, give him great character development, and give him a compelling story with a legit motivation. So, like I said, in terms of the story narrative, it's perfect. Besides the backtracking that the fast travel could have helped make tie in the plot more, I have no complaints with the plot. It was concise, it was understandable. There was payoff from the beginning to the end. And if you play the first one, you get your payoff. Everything that was kind of crappy in the first game, it gets addressed in the second one. They fix everything in terms of story. What the DLC fixed in terms of main campaign, that you want to play it again, because after you play the DLC, things start making sense. And it feels like it makes sense. Just the execution when you first play the main campaign, which I addressed in the first one, does not make any sense. It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. It's completely ludicrous. The sequel, not only does it fixes and explains so many stuff from the first one in a very concrete, understandable, and emotional payoff, and fan service, it completes your fan service that you wanted from the first game, but addresses it in the best way. But they implemented new ideas and concepts that worked. It worked, and any moments that happen, story moments with the side characters or with Seb, the main focus, Seb and his family, it all feels paid off. It's a great beginning. It's a great beginning, and it catches you up without require you to play the first one. It does a good job leading you into the sequel. That's what I gotta get credit for. It's great catching up. And if you play the first one, it's still fresh in your mind. And if you play the DLC, everything clicks by the beginning. It clicks, and anything they make reference to Evil Within 1, it's perfect. It's Tango Gameworks had a lot on their plate, but they succeeded. And then when you get to the end, it's a pretty solid ending. I love the ending. It ties up loose ending besides the post credit. That's a good lead in into Evil Within 3, but in terms of clearing up the lost spots, besides Sykes, we haven't confirmed what happened to him. They cleared up all loose ends. Everything that we need to know from Beacon, it made so much sense. Now you would have played the first one because you know what it's leading to. Everything felt earned. And in terms of the story that it's focused on Seb and the themes that they were trying to convey, it's perfect. Even I got hit in the heartstrings a little bit because they did it so well. It's effective. It was very effective. I love what they did with it. Please give us more. I'm waiting for Evil Within 3. If that comes out, I might rent it. I want to see how the reviews do, but they have a lot to work with because they succeeded with the sequel. They had a lot to work with, but they did well. Okay, another thing they did well. The characters and the world. The world building is flawless. It just continues on from Kitman's DLC storyline and then just carries it over. So what I liked about Kitman's DLC, not only did they flesh out a bland character, they did the same thing. Seb was just completely bland. Everybody. Tatiana, Nurse Ratchet, but I'm going to call her Nurse Tatiana. She's earned that. Kitman, Seb, Nurse Tatiana. Almost every character is fleshed out to the core. You could say Theodore, Father Theodore, is not fleshed out. In terms of his character, he is one note, but even you can kind of disregard that because everybody it fits in this. Nobody feels left out, and nobody doesn't feel like they overstayed. No one feels like a Ruvik or the Dr. Generic. Everybody has great character development, and it really, in terms of the main focus, Myra, Seb, yeah, Myra, Seb, Kitman, the main three are fleshed out. Even Mobius as villains, they are really good too. But really, if I had to have another complaint, it's not really, it's minor. But Father Theodore's segments, I liked his environments, but him as a boss fight, he sucked as a character because he was just so one note, but you disregard it because what it led to. Come on, like the Keeper, Sadus, and Laura boss fight are just cherry on the topic. Best moment, it's best moments. Agreed. So much best moments. And if you're Evil Within fan, that's gonna please you. It pleased me very much. Especially killing Laura. That pleased me. But that's what is great because it's not just the side characters that are done well better than the first one. It's the fact that it has a central focus on Seb and everything feels like the world is well, the world is revolved around Seb and it's done well. It's done extremely well. I liked his character development and anybody who's part of his world gets fleshed out too in very insightful, interesting ways. No character is wasted, and whoever dies, it just feels earned. That's how you need to do a story like this, especially Recover for the first one. Good job. That's very great character development, characterization. And it doesn't help that the new voice actors for the characters from the first one, they're done well too. Everyone just has that performance that is just Oscar worthy in a sense. Special mention goes to Seb and Myra and Kitman. Don't mind you, Jennifer Carter did well in the DLC by itself. But let's face it, the new actress was no slouch in terms of Kitman. Everybody, but in terms of Seb and Myra, that's amazing. Who they got the voice actor and actress to do it. Performances are just well good. Even Lily, who didn't have a lot of part, was well done too. And even the villains. Every performance they actors they picked for even Nurse Tatiana, everybody has flawless voice actors. I liked them. I really liked it compared to the first one. And the world building too, it's visually striking. That STEM engine enhances the horror atmosphere. I like that. I like that they enhance the horror atmosphere. Unlike Evil Within 1, physically striking too. Mind you, their atmosphere was powerful too because it was you felt paranoid and scared and very tense in the right ways. That's where they succeed in terms of atmosphere. They just continue it. But the open world, the fact that you had to brave it for a city you never heard of before, and then just going in and back and forth, and then instilling or just overcoming your trauma and fear and bravery, all these things, it just added to the story. But the world building was added to the story, and it added to Seb's desperation, what they're trying to convey. Yeah, the world building was striking from Stefano's nighttime blue, and you know that it's nighttime all the time, to the hellish nightmare of Father Theodore, to Myra's post-apocalypse timeline or setting. Each one is physically striking, and each setting is appropriately connected. It felt all interconnected. It didn't feel like just jumble, like even within one, the main campaign. So yeah, that's very striking, and with the STEM engine, it just made everything fleshed out. Plus, it helped flesh out the face models of each character. They didn't look awkward. They all look like real people. That's amazing with that technology. I hope we get to see STEM Edge and see if we get to PS5 era, see what it looks like then. But man, well done in that. Another mention that I didn't think I would actually bring up, the music. For appropriate moments when the main theme is integrated in certain scenes, the main theme is powerful. It works for so many moments, especially towards the end and especially towards the beginning. I liked it. And even when they use some horror moments and Stefano's themes, those are going to be highlights. When the music is used for hectic moments like that, or when we get a call back to Evil Within 1 in the best way possible. The music is perfect. It's a major improvement from the first one because, let's face it, besides the ending song, there's really nothing else besides Claude Debussy. They also bring Claude Debussy back in the best way possible, but all the music that they integrate in certain scenes or in the action heavy moments or the comeback is well done. It's a major improvement, and I noticed it. I like the remixes they did with the main thing in the most appropriate ways. It just helped the ending just have more emotional payoff because there was actually sympathy, and it really emphasized the core themes of what the game was trying to emphasize. The game would not have been more effective without solid music. Music solid in a story. I will download it on Spotify. And another thing I also enjoy too, it's definitely the comeback, because they took inspiration from other games. The fact that they took Last of Us crafting system and then they also enhanced their stealth gameplay that I love, but just they separated. They added customization, gave us more player choice. I love that. I loved in the final boss fight. Every boss fight I fought, marvelous, because the gameplay gave me choice. If I wanted to go stealth, I can go stealth. If I wanted to go gun heavy, I can go gun heavy. If I wanted to do a mixture of both, I can do that. I love that. I love that gameplay robust and how it was so variety. And plus the level design that I could test out my gameplay was just so vast and impressive. I love that. I love that it gave me that variety. And it was a lot of innovation. And I like the fact that you can customize everything. It just feels like you are so... How do I describe it? It just feels like you are adaptable for every situation. But it's that choice. That choice just adds to the game too. Because Seb, after the first game, it just adds to his character development too. The gameplay surprisingly adds to the game development. Why does it add to it? Because he is adaptable. Because he learned from it. He grew as a person, so he learned new skills, of course. But I like that too, and the open world sandbox that they added some RPG elements that I love, they added it. So of course, that just made the game just more awesome that they had tight gameplay. Just enough said. I have nothing else. Everything in terms of the characters, stories, world building, gameplay was just pitch perfect. It deserves a 9. So I am very excited of what they'll do with Evil Within 3. I hope it just takes what we like about the sequel. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if they expand upon it and just give us what we want, but add some new concept, it's going to be a perfect game. But it doesn't have to. It just needs to continue that perfect story with great gameplay that they can tweak and just leave it. But you gotta conclude it in a trilogy. I say in a trilogy. Don't do a fourth one. In a trilogy. Okay, so that's my verdict for Evil Within 2. I definitely enjoyed it. I will replay it again. This game has so much replayability. I'm proud to play this game. This was fun. Yeah, I can't complain. This game was super fun. Really hope we get an Evil Within 3, but it might be a long while. Because I think it's been 3 years since this game's been released. No DLC, but it doesn't have to have DLC. I'm glad it didn't. That makes me love it more, so... Hopefully, we get an Evil Within 3 so I can finish out the storyline. Or there'll probably be Evil Within 4, depending on how successful this franchise is. But, hope you guys enjoyed the walkthrough. Leave a comment. And you don't have to subscribe, but leave a comment. See what you guys actually enjoyed on this walkthrough. What was your best moments? What would you give this game out of 10? I'm all ears.